Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. This is Old School, sponsored by the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. Broadcasting veteran Derek Pearson.
When you find something that moves them, that makes them smile, celebrate it. That's your task. That's your superpower.
Nebraska Football Hall of Famer Jay Foreman.
Rifles a pass. It was tipped. It's picked off by Foreman. He's at the 15, 10, 5. He'll score!
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome in. Happy Friday. It's Christmas Eve. It's the final show that we'll have for you ahead of Christmas. We will be off on Monday, then back at it on Tuesday, getting you ready for the new year because 2022 is already coming to an end. Good afternoon. Nick Sainert hanging out with you guys. I am joined also on the phone for these first two segments by the Husker Hall of Famer, Jay Foreman. Jay, what's up, man? How's it going?
It's going, man, but, what is it, 2 days before Christmas? It's a little bit warmer today, so what is it? It's only negative, 20. So I guess we're on the upswing. Besides that, it's all good.
Jay, when I walked out to my car, we both walked out to our cars at the same time yesterday. Yeah. I kid you not, there were ice crystals on my dash.
Yeah, it's so cold out right now that it kind of, your car, generally will work well, but it kind of messes up all the electrical stuff, and it reminds me of when the Patriots played the Eagles up in Minneapolis for the Super Bowl, and I was up there, and then it was decent weather, and then it turned really, really cold like this. Mm-hmm. And I remember, it snowed, and I tried to start my car, or I did start my car, but the navigation system didn't work until, we got to warmer weather. So it's definitely brisk out there.
Once again, you guys know the drill. You can get in touch with the show, 402-464-5685, Honda of Lincoln Hotline or Starter Heyman text line. Old School, obviously sponsored by the Mercado and Certified Piedmontese. You guys know where to go to get all the variety of cuts of meat and the sorbet if you are Jay Foreman getting that strawberry sorbet, one of his favorites. All right, Jay, I have to start with this because Rico and I were just talking about this. Teams think that when they travel south for bowl games, like Louisiana Lafayette right now and Houston are playing in Texas in the Independence Bowl, that they're going to go somewhere warmer, right? Normally, especially if you're a northern team, you're like, sweet, I get to travel to Texas to play in a bowl game. Man, right now it's 17 degrees down at the Independence Bowl. And you can see Dana Holgerson's breath, the head coach for Houston. And I don't think that's what they intended on.
No, they didn't. And I remember actually watching the Independence Bowl, I think, maybe when I was in high school, and I was like, dang, it's cold out. It's cold down there for a ball game because that's what you naturally think. And that's kind of the payoff for everybody, especially Midwest teams, obviously North teams. You get to, supposedly get to go down and get warm weather, but not so much anymore. You just never know. With the temperatures here in Nebraska, it's not like in Florida it's going to be 80 degrees. But that's a little cold for some Houston Cougars, but. The great ones have to adjust, and I'm sure they can't wait to get that game over, though.
Louisiana's up 16-6 right now on Houston. So, the underdog, the technical underdog, Houston was a 7-point favorite in this game. So the technical underdog is up 10 points right now. Another game that we were completely off last night on, Jay, both of us, the Jets and Jags, man. Zach Wilson has to be done.
Well, he's done in New York, and to be honest with you, he's on the cusp of being the biggest bust of all time.
Oh,
and or not the biggest bust of all time, but one of them.
Yeah,
and it's a lot of his own doing. Like if you compare him to Jamarcus Russell, I think you saw a little bit of the immaturity with Jamarcus Russell because he only played 8-9 games, or started 8-9 games. When he was at LSU, but the Raiders did him no justice by having no veteran leadership around him and no weapons. Mm-hmm. What the Jets have done actually have drafted well and free agency well, both offensively and defensively. And Zach Wilson, if he watches all 22 tape, he is missing simple offensive, schematics or the schemes in offense that you would see, at Seacrest, aka Aaron Davis Field, when we used to call games on Friday. So I don't know if he doesn't know the playbook. I don't know if he's, not into it, but I think he's a kid that, definitely comes off as entitled, definitely comes off as a, immature punk. And I don't think, New York was the best matchup for him. And that's probably, I just said that they drafted well. They drafted well around him. I think they didn't draft well by drafting him to New York from BYU. It's such a different, it's two different worlds. It's not the right place for him. He's not mature enough to handle it, and it's just not working out right now. And the Jets are in a peculiar situation. He's not very tradable right now, but somebody would take him. But then you're still going to be on the hook for some of that salary cap hit. So, what do? Do you give him another year? If you're going to be paying him, you might as well pay him to be there, because I don't necessarily think he has such a big personality that he would be a true cancer in the locker room. Because I think, as you see now, that Jets locker room has enough leadership in there where they'll tighten him up and kind of brush him to the side. So, they got to start thinking about next year, because they're still in the playoff race, but without a legitimate quarterback, they're in some trouble. And, Zach Wilson, right, wrong, or indifferent, is feeling the brunt of it from not only the fans, but the media as well.
Well, I guess, I was thinking about this today while we've discussed the whole Zach Wilson situation. And I mean, do people read too much into pro days? How much do pro days truly factor into whether or not a team is thinking about drafting him? Because Zach Wilson, I don't know if you remember his pro day, but I was watching it earlier today, and he had this one throw off of 1 foot that he chucked it 55 yards down the field, and it was across his body, and everybody started comparing him to Patrick Mahomes or whatever. Do we read too much into pro days, and are they becoming a waste of time?
I don't think they're a waste of time. I think we read too much into it, and I think it was started with Mel Kiper and Todd McShay. I mean, but you know what? You can't fault the media guys for doing their job. They're there to talk about the pro days. That's what they're getting paid to do. Now, who's at fault are the dummy, GMs that are drafting a kid that made a throw with nobody else out on the field, that tried to have the nerve to compare him to Patrick Mahomes, who's a Hall of Fame quarterback. Yeah. Stop disrespecting the game. And here's another example. Do you remember when Johnny Manziel had his pro day?
Yes.
And they went berserk because his quarterback coach had a broom out there, and Johnny Manziel did his pro day with his pads on. I mean, are you kidding me? Yeah. I mean, you watched this dude play with pads on for 2 years. What does that have to do with now? It's almost that much better because he did his pro day with nobody out there with his pads on. So I think people fall in love with too much of a pro day. I understand if you get a guy and he really tests out well, and then it's verified by his tape. I think sometimes what a lot of pro guys do, and you see it in college as well, is they go off of what they want to see versus not what they do see, and that's the tape. The tape, the underwear Olympics should verify what you have on tape. The underwear Olympics should actually make you go back and watch the tape. Now, what you're hearing from me every single time is the tape, not what you're doing in underwear when nobody's out there and there's no pressure. So I think he's part of it, but I also think that being drafted to New York did him zero favors. I think Joe Burrow could handle New York. I think a guy like Zach Wilson would be better in a small market like, a Cincinnati or something like that. Even like a Jacksonville. But at the end of the day, he has to be mature enough to get better. And I don't think he spent a lot of time this offseason really working on what needs to happen to be that big jump from rookie to second year. I think he really thought that he had arrived, and it's just, it's punching him dead in the mouth right now, and he's spiraling out of control.
Well, it's crazy because I'm sure you've heard this before, and you guys talked about this a couple of weeks ago, but he was asked about that jump from year 1 to year 2. And because Zach Wilson, that was his reasoning for, I guess, not having the greatest statistics last season in year 1. He said, there's going to be that jump from year 1 to year 2. Statistically, quarterbacks make a good jump from year 1 to year 2. And then he was confronted by that earlier this season when he said, why aren't your stats matching up? And he said, I'm not a stats guy. I mean, this is I think entitled is the perfect description for Zach Wilson. And I think it's bad on the Jets because of what you just said. You have that human element of they thought it was a good idea to take a guy that went to a Mormon school at BYU and put him in the center of New York and make him the face of the Jets franchise.
Yeah, it wasn't. It was definitely. It wasn't the smartest move. I don't know where they missed the bar. When in these interviews, because when you're pick number 2, they spend more time with those picks than anybody else. That are picked later in the draft. So you should have more intel, especially from a personality standpoint or a personality trait standpoint, than anybody else. It's not like you're spending. It's not like you're flying out a 5th round, 6th round, 7th round priority free agent guy 3 or 4 times because he's going to be the face of your franchise. So you do the most homework on these guys. You should have the most intel on these guys, and you spend the most time with these guys as far as who they are, how they would fit into New York. I'm sure you got all these tests you do. So I don't know how you would forecast to think this is going to work. Number 1, he's an immature kid by his actions. Number 2, he is young in age. Number 3, and this is nothing wrong with how he grew up or anywhere, but where he grew up and where he, what he's used to culturally, it's so different from New York. That's an adjustment that could just pour into football as well. A big city versus like Provo, Utah is like going to outer space, man. I mean, it's and I always say it. I always say it. Some of these I always wish, like a lot of these quarterbacks. I know David Carr because he was one of my teammates. I just wish that there was a way to redo the draft that David Carr actually got drafted by Pittsburgh or the Philadelphia Eagles or like Kansas City Chiefs. Not saying that he'd be a Hall of Fame player, but I guarantee his career would be totally different. And it can make or break a guy. And right now you're seeing Zach Wilson spiral. But I will tell you this, if he could ever get his mind right, he has all the tools to be better. And he'll get more chances than, say, Jay Foreman, the late 5th round pick. He'll get 3 or 4 chances. And because you just saw a guy, Josh Rosen, who was picked number 10, been cut 3 or 4 times. He just got picked up. So it's not the end, but it's probably the end in New York. And you know what, to be honest with you, it's probably the best for the New York Jets, and it's probably the best for him. So hopefully it comes to something that's a positive end somehow, some way.
I mean, what do you think the Jets are going to do? Because obviously they have Mike White, who's banged up. But in terms of, I guess, next year and looking short term, is this the draft to kind of trade up if you're the Jets, and maybe you can get either a loaner for a year or just kind of a filler like the Colts did with the Carson Wentz, or maybe they can figure out a way to trade for Jimmy G. But I don't know how that situation would go because the 49ers have really shown that they are such just a plug and play kind of offense and system to where if you have a quarterback that can make decisions and is pretty good at making decisions, then it's going to be a successful offense. So I don't know how Jimmy G, I guess, would work in a New York Jets type of offense, but this is a team now when Breece Hall is healthy, you now have a decent lockdown corner in Sauce Gardner, who's young, obviously, but now you're having to get rid of your 23-year-old quarterback that you've only had for 2 seasons. I mean, is this the year to trade up for a quarterback considering the draft class, or do you think they go for a kind of a filler for a year, whether that's Mike White, whether they trade for somebody?
They could do quite a few things, but the big problem is finding somebody that's going to, take that bait. I think, you're going to have to accompany Zach Wilson with salary cap relief and a draft pick, or a ascending player, or maybe a declining player. In the NBA, it's like an expiring contract. Somebody where, so it's got to be a give and take. You're not just going to be able to trade Zach Wilson for a draft pick and think a team is going to take on that salary. I think for him, the best thing that they could do is find a desperate team for a quarterback. So when you're thinking of teams, say like, for instance, it might not happen, but say Indianapolis, think of Seattle, think of teams like that don't have a true starter. And the guy that's playing there now has not separated. Now, I like Geno Smith, but Seattle
Bowler.
would be a perfect landing spot for him. It's close to home. It's off the beaten path. Pete Carroll has done, he has the energy to kind of, have these rehab, type of, projects. He did it with Geno Smith. And oddly enough, came from the Jets. And if they get some salary cap relief, Seattle could actually spend, their draft picks on other parts of their team to keep them more relevant and more competitive, because they do have some good young parts. And so a team like that would be a great trade partner for them. And I think the Jets, on the Jets end, they have, they could probably get away with a combination of Joe Flacco and Mike White. I like Mike White.
Yeah.
They're built for the playoffs. So even if it's Jimmy G, I actually think he would flourish in a system like this, because you get Hall back to run the ball.
Mm-hmm.
You get healthy on the offensive line. That offense is totally different. And then you keep adding pieces to the defense, because not only do they have Sauce Gardner, but the other cornerback is a legit lockdown corner too. I forget his name. He's number 4. So they have 2 stalwarts at corner, really good inside safety play, good linebacker play, and a dominant defensive line that is all in their prime besides C.J. Mosley. And C.J. Mosley went to the Pro Bowl this year. So when I'm saying not in his prime, I'm saying, C.J. Mosley at one point in time was probably 1 or 2 of the best inside linebackers. Now he's in the top 5 or 6.
Still productive.
So if they could do that, it would be really good for them. It would be really good for Zach Wilson, to get him off the beaten path, to kind of give him some structure. There's some other teams that you could probably think of. I mean, to be honest with you, if depending on who the coach is, and it'd be hard for him to go to Arizona, but I'd say a place like Arizona where the starter, either has some personality issues, where he can kind of come in there and like revamp, rebrand himself, it'd be a great spot for him. But the biggest thing, Nick, is he's going to have to want to change. Or let me retract that. He's going to want to have to do better. You're never really going to change like everybody, complete change. He has to do better. And, another place that if they had the salary cap room, which they don't because they gave Russell Wilson all the money, would be a place like Denver, right? Because he could maybe come in and watch and get some tutelage, from a quarterback coach or even like a John Elway. But it's going to be hard to move him, and it's going to be interesting to see. I mean, you could even, I hate to say it, throw him in there with like my Houston Texans,
Yeah.
Because, I like Mills as their quarterback, but there's tons of teams that are going to take a flyer on him. Now, he is on his rookie contract, so that makes it a little bit more enticing. Now it goes back on the Jets on how much salary cap will they eat in that first year to not only go, say, from 1 or 2 teams that might be, looking at it and be inviting, and then you have 5 or 6. Then the Jets actually go to a power position, because then they can start negotiating some other parts based on, I'm paying Zach Wilson to go away.
All right, Jay. So we only have about 3 or 4 minutes left in this segment, so I want to stick on the NFL while we can, and then we can maybe break into some Huskers talk in the next segment that while we got you, because they got an offensive line commitment earlier today. So I want to make sure we touch on that before we let you go. On the flip side, Jacksonville now is in a position, they're 7-8 overall. They are 2 games out of the playoff, I believe, if I looked correctly. And they got games coming up against the Texans and Titans to round out the season. I mean, what did we learn not only about the Jaguars, but maybe even Trevor Lawrence? Because we sat here yesterday saying, yeah, listen, Trevor Lawrence going to have to go into New York, and they're 2 playoff, caliber teams at this point, which is crazy to even think about. But what did we learn about the Jags last night?
Well, the one thing about them you learned is that they can win in different ways. They don't have to, it isn't a shootout like with Dallas. I think the Dallas win was bigger for them than the loss for Dallas, but it gave them confidence to go on the road and win in a, adverse conditions in a physical game. Because, when you play the Jets, they're going to be physical.
Mm-hmm.
I think you saw that their defense was able to lead the way. So that gives them confidence, because I don't know personally, but I know just on the outside looking in, with Doug Peterson, he feels like with their weapons on offense and the offensive line emerging, even though their starting left tackle is out, that they feel that they're able, within the right conditions, which was a little bit hard to play in last night, that they'll be able to put up points. But what you also learned about not only the team, but as Trevor Lawrence, for being the number 1 pick and a budding superstar, he's okay with playing well enough to win.
Yeah.
Short, controlled passing game, strategic, pull the ball down when it's not there and we'll run it. They actually played the best game plan that they could play for the conditions of the game. Then conversely, the Jets, whether it was the offensive coordinator or Zach Wilson, didn't come to terms with the actually home field and the conditions that you're playing in. So that's what you saw about them. So if they do make the playoffs and say they got to go to Buffalo, they have some sort of kind of positive feedback that they can go back on and say, you know what, we can win in adverse conditions. So they're quite happy. They're going to have a good Christmas. They're right in the thick of things. They're going to need some help, but the best help that they could get, two winnable games and 2 games that they should win. They should beat Houston. Tennessee be tough, but I think that they're a little bit ahead of Tennessee since Tannehill's out. They should, if they can win and go 9, what would be like, they would be 9-8. That'd be a really, number one, positive season for them to be, have a winning season. But number 2, if they end up making the playoffs, it's a really good year for that whole organization compared to what just happened last year.
Which one guy you kind of mentioned how their weapons on offense, whether it's Christian Kirk or Zay Jones. One guy that's not had necessarily a resurgence in his career, but really elevated his play in the last couple, and throughout the last season, I suppose. Evan Ingram, if you remember, he was one of the top, young tight ends in the league in his early days with the New York Giants, then really fell off the map, leaves to go to Jacksonville, and he's third on the team in targets, or third on the team in receptions, has over 90 targets this season, 4 touchdowns. I mean, he's a guy that's really elevated his career since he left New York.
Right. Well, you got to think about it. A tight end is a young quarterback's, safety net. Now, when he was younger in New York, I'll even backtrack. He jumped on the scene from being at Clemson, and it was based on him going to the combine and his pro day, lighting it up like a Christmas tree, whereas Clemson had so many outside threats in Travis Etienne, he didn't get a lot of chances, but everybody knew he was really good. Ran a 4.3 40, came out his rookie year, did well. Then he fought the injury bug for the next 2 or 3 years. He actually did something really, 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 cool, or what he probably had to do is he signed a 1-year deal with Jacksonville. Approve it. I'll show you. And he's doing it. He bet on himself. He's out there, and it seems like he's, not only matured, but he's actually motivated. He's gotten better at blocking, and, he's lighting the league on fire right now. And look, as Jacksonville starts to win, you're going to start to see Evan Ingram get more and more, media attention and stuff like that. So he's a big part of their success. They spend a lot of money in the off season, as they should when you have a number 1 quarterback. And for Jacksonville to give them plenty of credit. Every single person they even got when Urban Meyer was there and this offseason has played pretty dang well. And Evan Ingram is definitely one of those guys.
All right, Jay, let's go ahead and take a timeout. When we come back, we will dive into Nebraska's commitment from offensive line transfer Arizona State. He played right tackle for 2 years, then made the transition to center, a position of need for Nebraska. Ben Scott officially signed, sealed, and delivered to the Huskers. Husker Hall of Famer Jay Foreman joining me on the phone for one more segment. Nick Sander with you. It's Old School, 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. We'll be right back here on The Ticket.
You're listening to Old School with DP and J. Download the mobile app and listen wherever you are on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Your Christmas list changes a lot as you get older. Dreams of video games, remote control cars, and baseball gloves turn into dreams of shoes. Practical things. Brown's Shoe Fit is the king of shoes in Lincoln, with brands like Sorel, UGG, and Hey Dudes to make you fashionable and comfortable. Get 2 pairs of Hey Dudes for $100 and buy 3, get 1 free on Smartwool socks for the ultimate stocking stuffer. And don't forget a reliable gift card for that hard-to-buy-for person in your life. Brown's Shoe Fit at 66 and Q in Lincoln.
There's nothing quite like the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese beef. The Mercado offers unique ingredients you can't find anywhere else, open every day from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. The full-service butcher shop and retail store is wonderful for meat lovers with their exclusive Certified Piedmontese beef and assorted sausages, plus other quality meats, including pork, chicken, and a wide range of the freshest seafood. Plus, every Friday from 11 to 2, the Mercado serves up the best lunch in town on their Friday Feast menu. Stop in at the Mercado today at 84th and Havelock or visit their website at cpmercado.com to see current deals.
Early Break with Sip and Jake.
Bill Moose joins us on Early Break, the former Nebraska athletic director. Leach had run into some trouble at Texas Tech, but you decided he was your guy. Why?
Mike Leach reminded me of me, coloring outside the lines, being innovative, being competitive, finding a great joy in figuring out how to beat somebody and they don't know how you beat them.
Early Break with Sip and Jake from 6 to 8 every weekday morning on 93.7 The Ticket.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Underground, who has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know the baddest dudes in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and pedigree of success. Bauer, a family-friendly company who reminds you, go Big Red!
People always ask, what are Jake and Sip like when they're off the air? Well, the answer probably won't surprise you.
Hey, Jake, your Honda's looking a little dirty.
Says the guy whose license plate is barely visible.
I mean, do you even care about that thing anymore?
It gets a little uncomfortable. Now, that's when I jump in.
Hey, whoa. Mark, did you get a new car?
Nope, just took my car down to Nebraska Auto Detail. Joe and the staff made the outside and the inside look amazing. Maybe you guys need to go.
Okay, wise guy.
Settle down, Jake.
Book your appointment today at NebraskaAutoDetail.com.
Hopcat exists at the intersection of great beer and delicious food, complemented by music, art, community, and comfort. Home to a best-in-class beer experience served by craft beer experts, guests can expect a casual, inviting local gathering place with some of the best damn burgers and fries you'll find in Lincoln. Hopcat is your pregame headquarters for basketball and volleyball all season long. Hopcat is located at 6th and P in the Haymarket. To plan your next trip to Hopcat, visit www.hopcat.com.
My early Alzheimer's diagnosis was hard to take.
But it gave my mom and me more time to plan together.
Talk to your family about seeing a doctor. Go to alz.org/time to talk. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Eustace Body Shop, where our customers send their friends. That's the greatest compliment we can receive. If you've been in an accident, we'll get you back in your vehicle as quickly as possible. Our technicians care about you and your family and repair your vehicle to factory standards. We handle your claim from start to finish and provide a free loaner car. Stop by for a free estimate. Eustace Body Shop, just south of 88th and Highway 2.
The most recommended Eustace Body Shop. That's who we are.
Dance like a dad. It's a great way to make a moment with your kids. First, I hold my hands out like they're on a steering wheel. Then I look over my shoulder. Next, I put it in reverse. Visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
People always ask, what are Jake and Sip like when they're off the air? Well, the answer probably won't surprise you.
Hey, Jake, your Honda's looking a little dirty.
Says the guy whose license plate is barely visible.
I mean, do you even care about that thing anymore?
It gets a little uncomfortable. Now, that's when I jump in.
Hey, whoa. Mark, did you get a new car?
Nope, just took my car down to Nebraska Auto Detail. Joe and the staff made the outside and the inside look amazing. Maybe you guys need to go.
Okay, wise guy.
Settle down, Jake.
Book your appointment today at NebraskaAutoDetail.com.
Hey, Steve. Welcome to Great Clips.
Great Clips asks, what's the difference between good and great?
Come on back and have a seat.
Good asks you what haircut you'd like.
I have all your details from last time. Would you like the same haircut today?
Great already knows. With Clip Notes, we save your haircut details so you can get the same thing as last time, every time. Download our online check-in app today. Great Clips. It's gonna be great.
Did you know that the U.S. has added over 1,100 new breweries in the last 18 months? Learn more by shopping at Myers Cork and Bottle, 13th and South, and by tuning into Thirsty Thursdays with Kevin Myers, because sports are better with a drink in your hand and a friend at your side. Guys, Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping has changed my life. I'm healthier, I'm more fit, I have more energy, and oh yeah, I've lost a bunch of weight. Almost 100 pounds. Now's the time for you to take control of your health and join the Farrell's 10-week challenge. The program combines kickboxing, strength training, and nutrition to set you up for success. And ticket listeners, you can get in for half off. The next challenge starts on January 7th at both of their locations, 40th and Yankee Hill, and their brand new spot at 70th and Vine. Get all the info at fxblincoln.com. Join today. Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping.
Back to Old School with DP and J on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, we're back here. Happy Friday. It's Old School, brought to you by the Mercado, certified Piedmontese. We got Husker Hall of Famer Jay Foreman on the line. Nick Sander with you in the studio. All right, so Jay, before we let you go on your merry way on this Friday afternoon, Huskers got a commitment and a signature, I should say, from Ben Scott, a 6'5", 310-pound offensive lineman that has a little bit of versatility. He played 2 seasons he started a total of 28 games in his time at Arizona State, played 2 seasons at right tackle, then made the transition and played 11 of the 12 games here in 2022 at center because he missed the 12th game against Oregon State, I believe, because of an elbow injury. But when you see this guy, he's a guy from Honolulu, Hawaii. He went to the same high school as Dominic Raiola. What do you see when you turn on the tape and see Ben Scott?
Well, I see number one, for him to play right tackle and then move to center, he lets you know that he's a football player, and that's what we need. We can't pigeonhole guys into whatever position we want to dream them to be, but he's a football player. So what that does, it gives Coach Donnie a tremendous amount of flexibility. But obviously, center is where he played last. The one thing I like about him is that he snaps the ball, he's quick, and he can block guys one-on-one. So it also lets you know he has leadership, skills is where, he's always answering the bell and he's able to play well at a high level at 2 different positions in a Power 5 conference. So, he's athletic. He's not for a big glitz and glamour. It seems like he wants to, get down and get busy and he knows the opportunities here, to do well. He knows that Nebraska, in the past had a really, great tradition of offensive line play, and he can fit right in and do it. He knows that, what's expected of him, I'm sure. And he's going to come in and compete. So I think it's a big gift for Nebraska. I think when we did our grades on the whole class, I said I would have liked to see a guy out of the transfer portal at what position?
Offensive line.
Offensive line in particular the center position.
Yeah.
Matt Rule and those guys had him on campus, and we were waiting for Cornelius and all that stuff, but they got one that they had Cornelius maybe 1A and he 1B. Or vice versa. If they could have got both of them, would have probably went up to an A+. But I think this really helps out the class, not only, for, the rankings per se, but or perception, but then also what you can immediately do when you start practicing, or first of all, getting in the weight room and all that stuff. I like it. I think obviously there's some room to grow and for him to get better. But I think right there, when you think of playing the middle of that offensive line, if he does what I think they hoped him to do, not only is he going to play well, but he's gonna up the tempo. He's gonna up the ante as far as expectations, as far as playing well and doing all the stuff you need to do to be successful. So, I like it. I think it's a good get, for the team, and it's a good fit for him. And I just hope envision him playing well, and I think it's a great thing for, coach in his first year that has, high expectations and a lot of eyes on him. I mean, when Matt Rose kind of came in and reshaped the idea of Nebraska and social media. Obviously, it seems like he's heavily involved in it, whether he's doing it but he knows, he's associated with it. And then when you have that type of contract in assistant coaches pool, whether you have an 8-year contract or 8-day contract, the pressure's on. So this is another piece of the puzzle. And, and also I will say this, it's also, really good for, Coach Donnie, where, he's kind of always been, been playing catch up. They brought him in late. They didn't really allow him to bring the guys in he really wanted, as far as out of the transfer portal. Then, you got to kind of, coach with what you're dealt with. He does that, doesn't really, bat an eye at that. And then, obviously you have a head coaching change twice, essentially, Scott, and then, Mickey. And then, you're kind of interviewing for your job again. So he's never really been on settled ground. I think it's a really good gift for him, along with other guys in the offensive line. And now he can kind of really get in and really give you the best version of himself as an offensive line coach, because now he's actually able to function like all the other coaches have or were able to in the past.
Yeah, I think that's a big part of it that I think maybe not a lot of people would realize is that this is a huge win for Nebraska and Matt Rule, yes, but I think it's bigger for even Donovan Raiola, because this might be one of the, although through all the recruits, obviously, this might be one of the few guys that Donovan Raiola has been the primary guy or the main decision maker on, I think.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's, look, I think that when you recruit, it's a collaborative effort, and granted, a lot of this class, especially in the offensive line, was already, committed, and that's part of, Coach Raiola being here. So it's not like, they're coming here sight unseen, not knowing who the coach was, but he had to, re-interview, and now you're getting he's actually a new coach because he's under the, the tutelage or he has another head coach. So he is essentially a new coach, but he's not in my mind. So, he's done more than what he's getting credit for. And sometimes people try to use, if you're the lead recruiter, if you weren't, for you or against you, and, as long as he coaches the guys well and gets the best out of them, given the right the right opportunity and objective opportunity, that's all you can ask for. And that's what, hopefully he does.
I think it's interesting because you look at this recruiting class that Nebraska's brought in now, and it's the Brock Knutson, Sam Sledge. I'm missing a couple other ones, the high school guys on the offensive line that they've brought in. I mean, Machuchak from the former North Dakota commit, who the previous staff didn't really even offer him a chance to come on and as a scholarship player. He might move from defensive line to offensive line. Basically, what I'm getting at is you have a group of guys that are currently on the roster that are returning with experience. You bring in now Ben Scott,
right,
who had 3 years at Arizona State with experience through 28 games at a Power 5 level nonetheless. And then you bring in a group of projects, if you will, or guys that just need some developing that maybe they can turn to, or that they won't have to turn to day one, like they did with Bryce Benhart, like they did with Turner Corcoran. So I think it's not necessarily best of both worlds, but you're getting a little bit of each flavor because you're bringing in an experienced guy that can help immediately, but then you also have guys that this staff can develop from day one.
Yeah, and that's what you want. You want to be able to have guys that like if you had to roll out there right now, that you have, I guess, let's just say 7 guys that you feel comfortable with, maybe 8, and then you have some guys that are younger, which they just got in this class that need to develop. But I would like to think that one guy out of this class, the rookie guys or freshmen, will make some noise and be a factor.
Mm-hmm.
And then 2 or 3 years down the road, you'd like to have, in particular out of this class, 2 starters, maybe a rotational player. That's what you like to do. And they don't, I'm not worried about All-American and all that. I'm talking about guys that, are contributing on the field, starting or rotational players. That's what you want out of every class, because that's when you can you go from rebuilding, right? When you're constantly like, oh, we have a decent offensive line. Well, we won't be good for 2 or 3 years. Then you get into the reloading, and then you could forecast the next guys coming. And that's when you get to be a consistent football team, because, you're only going to go as far as your offense and defensive line goes. And that's your lifeline. So if you can find a way to get that going sooner than later, then that's where the consistency will start coming sooner than later.
All right, Jay, got a couple NFL questions for you before we let you go and get you on with your the rest of the Friday. All right, so couple games tomorrow. Do the Bears have any shot against your good old Buffalo Bills at home?
They have a shot because of Justin Fields, but because Buffalo's played horrible against the run, and a running quarterback is always troublesome for any type of defense. But they really don't, because the Bears defense is banged up and poor this year. Mm-hmm. And I think the Bills understand. You're getting towards the end of the season. You're the number 1 seed. You handle your business. You get a week off. You'll be the only team getting a week off. It's huge, and you'll get a home game at Buffalo, something that they haven't been able to do the last 2 or 3 years, even though they've been in the playoffs. So I pick Buffalo to win.
All right, and then last NFL question. Do the Detroit Lions get above 500 and win their 7th game in their last 8 games with a win against the Panthers on Sunday? Do they get it done?
I do. I like Detroit, man. I think
yes,
they've been a surprise, but they're not so surprising. I'm happy for them because of, I know Aaron Glenn and, Dan Campbell coaching in Detroit is not easy. They have Chris Spielman up there as a kind of quasi GM, special assistant to the owner. So they're trying to do better. And I think they have a plethora of young talent. They have actually drafted well.
Yeah.
And you get Jameson Williamson back, along with their receivers that they have. They got a pretty good running game. They got a big physical offensive line. The defense is starting to play more consistent. I like Detroit, especially playing against the Panthers, because they match up very, very well against the Panthers offensively and defensively. And I think Jared Goff is playing at such a high level that the Panthers defense can't shut him out like they'll be able to do, say, against the Arizona Cardinals or something like that.
Detroit's a team that a higher seed wouldn't really necessarily want to play in the early rounds of the playoffs. They're one of those that can surprisingly knock you out. Maybe they won't compete for a Super Bowl, but they're one of those teams that can surprise some teams early rounds in the playoffs.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, look, when you get in the playoffs, man, it's even Steven. So it don't matter. You can lose. I mean, we've seen it. How many times have we seen, wild card teams end up being Super Bowl champions? So all that stuff's out the window. But when you come in hot, when a team like Detroit plays hot that lasts like month and a half, that's the team that you don't want to play, because that's the team that you have to evaluate and actually forget about that first part of the season. That's the new team that you're going to face, and they oppose matchup problems in all three phases. That's why nobody really wants to play them, because there isn't a week off, and they can, sneak up on you and then beat you, and you don't want to be upset, especially the most likely Detroit's going to be on the road. Get upset at home in the playoffs is going to lead to a long off season.
Yeah, big time. Jay, are we eating chitlins this weekend?
Oh man, no, not this weekend. Not this weekend. Before New Year's, I'm gonna have some chitlins, but not for Christmas. I'm gonna take a break, but we're gonna have some greens though, and we're gonna get busy a little bit. So, I think it's gonna be good, man. Sorry I couldn't get in. The flights have been delayed. I'm up here trying to pick up my daughters and stuff like that. But I wish all our listeners to have a phenomenal Christmas Eve and Christmas, and appreciate it. Appreciate you and Rico holding it down over this last month and a half. Seems like we kind of been doing it, but that's what you do when you got good teammates, man. So appreciate you guys, and going to pick up the they're not tax exemption, so I'm going to pick up the credit card stealers up here in a couple minutes.
There it is. All right, Jay. Hey man, appreciate you hanging out with me for a couple. We'll talk to you later. There is Jay Foreman, Husker Hall of Famer. Appreciate him as always. All right, so here's kind of the situation. We're going to bring Rico in for the final segment of the 4 o'clock hour. Then we're going to play kind of a best of today for the first two segments in the 5 o'clock hour. And so you're going to hear kind of, we had a really, really interesting recruiting discussion earlier on the drive with AD and Raph, where Jay Gates, our guest today, kind of dove deep into whether or not recruiting rankings match up and equal championships. The results in that might surprise you. Then also earlier today on Early Break, Jake Sorensen talked about how 40,000 Gamecock fans bought tickets to the South Carolina Bowl game. When we get that kind of turnout from Nebraska, who knows? That all coming up in the 5 o'clock hour. But first, to round out the 4 o'clock hour, we'll go ahead and bring in my co-host from the happy hour, Rico, because he's still here rocking the ugly Christmas sweater. And boy, it is ugly, especially on Mr. Rico. So I know he can hear me. I know Rico can hear me. So let's go and take a break. Thanks again to Jay Foreman for hanging out with me for the first 45 minutes or so of the show. We'll be right back. You're listening to Old School, brought to you by the Mercado Certified Piedmontese. We'll be right back on The Ticket.
Watch Old School live on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. Old School with DP and J on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Rico here with HIS Auto Care at 70th and Van Dorn, letting you know HIS is a great place to bring your vehicle for service. With superior service, bumper to bumper, we'll treat your vehicle like it's your mother's. Doesn't get any better than that. So call 402-488-8934 and HIS Auto will make you glad you did. 5% off, mention this ad, and for sure your mother will be proud you called. 402-488-8934, HIS Auto Care, 70th and Van Dorn. God bless you.
Hey, it's Nicklin Hames from Nebraska Volleyball. I hate wasting time in practice, and I want to help you stop wasting your time when you're looking for an electrician. High Electric has been serving the area for over 30 years for both residential and commercial properties. They are experts in everything like remodeling, new additions, hot tub installation, and more. And they take jobs from Beatrice to Omaha and all towns, big or small, in between. Call them today at 402-466-6606 or learn more at high-electric.com.
Are you looking for a solid, stable career in assembly, CNC machining, or injection molding? We got you covered. Hi, Bob Williams, HR Director for Garner Industries, a world-class manufacturer with a 70-year history right here in Lincoln. And I just listed some great career opportunities that you can find by logging into GarnerIndustries.com. If you want top pay, excellent benefits, flexible work hours, and the opportunity to work in a clean, modern, air-conditioned facility with great people, contact me today by applying online at GarnerIndustries.com.
Mario fue pintor más de 30 años. Cuando me dijo que se le estaban olvidando las cosas, fue difícil. Un día me dijeron que pintara el marco del lado por dentro y pinté el lado de afuera.
Yo le diría a la gente que le diga a su familia lo que está pasando con él.
Si algo se nota diferente, podría ser Alzheimer. Es momento de hablarlo. Visita alz.org/nuestras historias para saber más. Un mensaje de the Alzheimer's Association y the Ad Council.
2022 flew by fast. And while you celebrate the upcoming holidays, Mullen Motors is looking ahead to 2023 and trying to open up space on their lot. Stop by Mullen Motors for their year-end sale and select from some of the best options of used vehicles in Lincoln at the best prices of the year. Don't end the year in your aging vehicle. Search Mullen Motors lot today for their year-end sale, just north of 48th and Lake.
No tagline, just quality vehicles. Mullen Motors.
People first is more than a nice sentiment. At American Senior Benefits, it's the mission. If you're ready for a career where you can truly put your customers' needs ahead of everything else, this is for you. American Senior Benefits is one of the leading senior market insurance product distributors in the country, and they're looking for high-energy applicants with strong communication skills. Enjoy on-the-job training, a fun work environment, and unlimited income potential. Visit asbmidwest.com to learn more. American Senior Benefits.
Benjamin Franklin said, an investment in knowledge pays the best interest. I agree. I'm Judy Benson, president of the Nebraska State Education Association. I grew up in Nebraska, attended our local public schools, and became a teacher. It wasn't easy, but it's the best investment I've ever made. Teachers are encouraging every student to invest their time in learning. Please join us in that effort. Support public education.
Sponsored by the Nebraska State Education Association, aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association in this station.
At Allo, we think you deserve the fiber things in life, like binging your favorite TV shows and movies buffer-free, next level, lag-free gaming, and video calls without frozen faces. So say goodbye to lag and buffering and hello to super fast fiber internet with dedicated 24/7 support for total peace of mind. Plus, no hidden fees, no expiration dates, and no contracts, ever. From dependable service to exceptional support, experience the fiber things with Allo. Go to allofiber.com/fiberthings and switch today.
Alexa, play 93.7 The Ticket.
Okay, playing 93.7 The Ticket.
Alexa, turn down the lights.
Dimming the lights.
Alexa, order a pizza, the big one, all the toppings.
Are you sure that's a good idea?
Alexa.
That's a lot of pizza for just one man.
Alexa, just do it. Stop judging me, just do it.
As you wish.
Thanks, Alexa. You're my best friend.
At Koppel, during the holidays, we take time to cherish our terrific staff, community, and loyal customers that continue to drive that money-saving mile to Louisville, Nebraska. Hi, this is Sean Callahan. I can proudly say I bought my car at Koppel. And if you are in the area, I invite you to stop by Koppel Chevrolet GMC's offices in Louisville or check them out online at koppelcars.com. On behalf of Koppel Chevrolet GMC, Merry Christmas and safe travels to all.
Working at Continental in Lincoln isn't a job, it's a career. And right now they've raised wages again again and they're hiring for production operators at $24.11 per hour, which grows to $28.27 per hour within 3 years. Skilled trade positions now start at $32.76 per hour with opportunities to make more based on certification. Continental also has salary jobs available and great benefits, plus medical and prescription costs at very low premiums. Dental, vision, and life insurance are offered at no premium cost to the associates, with increased bonuses and vacation for new hires. To learn more or to apply, go to continental-jobs.com with keyword Lincoln. Come work at Continental today.
The captain, Vershawn Jackson.
It is well documented on how Winston Peter and the Black Shirts treated Scott Frost in practice when he transferred back home from Stanford.
What we do to Scott Frost? We didn't do nothing to Scott Frost.
It's well documented. You haven't read about it,
Yeah,
Terrell?
we did it.
You were there.
We did it. We did it. You sure? You sure right. And it was fun. Yeah.
Don't act like you wasn't part of that.
Yeah, I was.
Weekdays from 11 to 2 on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
There's nothing quite like the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese beef. The Mercado offers unique ingredients you can't find anywhere else, open every day from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. The full-service butcher shop and retail store is wonderful for meat lovers with their exclusive certified Piedmontese beef and assorted sausages, plus other quality meats, including pork, chicken, and a wide range of the freshest seafood. Plus, every Friday from 11 to 2, the Mercado serves up the best lunch in town on their Friday Feast menu. Stop in at the Mercado today at 84th and Havelock or visit their website at cpmercado.com to see current deals.
This is Old School on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
What's up? We're back here on Old School. That sounds weird for me to say that. Nick Sainert, and now Enrique Alvarez Clary hanging out with us. Hi. Your mic's not on yet. Hello. Hey, what's up?
Hi,
Rico?
everybody. How you doing?
Rico, I got to put you on the stream here.
Yeah, you should do that.
There
Everybody
we
wants
go.
to see my gorgeous face.
Something like that. A face.
Hey. Hey.
Rico.
Hey. Who's in Paris?
Okay. Time to hit the break.
Dude's in Paris. My buddy's in Paris. That's a great.
Pals.
It's a great song.
Pals. It is a good song.
My pals.
My pals are in Paris, France.
Hooray!
Anyway, what's up, Rico?
Not much. Just getting some more work done. And actually, I was gonna ask people because I forgot what they said. Can anybody tell me like a place for sure, like a tire place or somewhere for sure that I can go and they'll fill up my tires? I need like a for sure answer because I'm gonna go after work. It's gonna be like 6 o'clock, and I need it. Like I need it. So I just need a for sure answer. Like where can I go that you guys know 100% that I can get my tires filled up?
Mark just texted in, y'all. Mark, it wasn't me.
What, Mark?
It was Rico.
I didn't say anything. You already left, all right?
You left us, Mark.
You're gone. Don't you tell me what to do.
Us.
Don't you tell me what to do. I've
That
been on air for 6 hours.
That was your first problem, is you left. You left us here.
You bought me a monster, all right? You did this.
Nyla says Rico needs a raise. But here's the
I
deal.
would take one, but I don't
Why
know.
just Rico?
Just me.
We were here both. We have been here together.
You weren't here on Monday.
I wasn't.
I've been here all week.
You have been. But you know it is what it is. Somebody says you stop has free air.
No. Not a gas station, because I understand that a gas station has free air. I've tried that. The gas station air doesn't work.
This doesn't necessarily sound safe, but somebody says, "Come on over, Rico. I'll fill up your tires at my house."
Where you at? I trust you. Don't murder me now. I don't want to be a part of. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna say it. I don't want two ladies making a podcast episode about how I went to your place after work and was never seen again. All right.
No,
don't make me a podcast episode.
because that just makes me have more work next week.
Don't make me a podcast episode. All right.
Anyway.
At least make it a movie.
Yeah.
Maybe a TV episode, not a podcast. I want to be important.
Somebody says it's going to be on the next Dahmer.
My favorite murder.
Gee whiz. Somebody says Jiffy Lube
for like 100%. Like I can go there and they'll give me air.
Bryce says elaborate on gas station air not working, Rico. It was basically the thing was frozen. So no air.
Like I've been to 5 different gas stations over the last 3 days trying to get air. And every time I go to get it, it gives me a large puff of air and then no air.
That's it.
It just goes, and then it's like, so it's less. There will be more air coming out of my tire than going into my tire. Like I don't understand why it's not working.
The
but it's
unnamed texture that said Jiffy Lube says that's the only thing I would let them do.
That's rude.
That's disrespectful to Jiffy Lube.
Hey, leave Jiffy Lube alone.
I feel like Jiffy Lube is. Somebody says any car dealer or Jiffy Lube should get you taken care of if they're open.
Okay, well, I hope they're open then.
Is he down, Fumble? No, he's down. Anyway, yeah, so John in Cortland also says Google machine. You could Google.
I have Googled.
Okay.
I trust the people though. The people on the text
see,
line are more trustworthy
you,
than the Google.
Unfortunately, you're not going to be able to go to this person's house because they live all the way over on 84th and Old Cheney. And that is that way, and you live that way.
Yeah, completely different directions. I got to stop by Red Walmart, pick up an order.
Oh, really? What are we getting?
I don't know. Rachel ordered it. Shout out Rachel.
So we don't know what we're getting?
No, that's normally how it goes. She orders stuff from Target. She goes,
Really?
hey, I put it in an order. And then she sends me
Curbside pickup.
The little thing. Nah, I just go inside. I don't care. And she sends me the barcode. I go inside. They're like, do you have an online order? I say, yep. And they scan it. And then they give it to me. And they go, is that everything? And I go, I hope so.
Shout out to the people that are working curbside pickup because
it's cold.
It's a cold. It's a cold. And
it is a cold.
It is a cold.
Just one single solitary cold.
I was thinking about this today. He says, I tried, brother. I'm here for you. No, we appreciate the offer.
It's okay.
We do.
No, thank you. Maybe next time.
I live close to 84th and Old Cheney, so if I ever need air, I'll let
go
you
to
know.
that person's place.
I'll let you know.
Thanks, random person. We're gonna change your name to compressed air
guy.
No, just compressed air.
Compressed air.
Yeah.
I hope they're okay with that.
Yeah. No, they will be because they don't have a choice. We control the names on the text line.
Compressed
air. You are now compressed air.
All right. So compressed air. Welcome to the text line.
Welcome.
All right. Cool. At least we know where you live. All right. So,
or at least a general direction.
Yeah. Exactly. Oh, he says Jeffro.
No, compressed air.
Compressed air.
I'm sorry. This is a thing.
Sorry. Compressed air. It sounds like it makes me think like he's like bottled up with emotion.
Good.
He just needs to burst. Burst with air.
That's perfect.
Anyway, so Slim says Walmart service department.
Okay.
I would be cautious of that North 27th Walmart. Though.
That's the Walmart I always go to.
I'd be cautious. I'd be cautious of that North 27th.
That blue Target isn't the best, but it gets the job done.
I actually made a trip over there today to do my curbside pickup because I had to get an order.
They have like a whole row of
28 spots.
Yeah. Oh, you counted?
Well, they have the numbers.
Oh.
28 spots.
Well, it's on both sides, so it's actually 56.
Yes.
See?
AJ asks, will you change my name to Trip Triple?
Sure.
Cool. No more AJ.
Bye, AJ. You are now Trip Triple.
Somebody wants us to make merch for a Twitter burner account. I'm not sure what that means.
Don't know what you're talking about.
I don't know what you mean, but we'll consider.
No idea what you're talking about, but sure.
Sure. We'll consider. It might be available on 93.7 or theticketfm.com.
Maybe. We'll see.
Speaking of, I found this new Twitter account that was really interesting. It's Yeah Sports Today.
Hasn't tweeted,
but
it has a cool picture.
It's Hasbulla.
It has Hasbulla. So if you
That's
go,
all you need.
Find this awesome new Twitter account.
Yeah Sports Today.
At Yeah Sports Today. I think they're
you'll find it. It's followed by me and Rico. So
pretty cool. It's a pretty cool account.
So I mean, we'll get the merch eventually.
We'll see.
I'm sure there's a place you can buy it.
It should probably tweet before it starts getting merch.
Yeah, I think that would probably
might be helpful.
Might be helpful for whoever runs that Twitter account.
Whatever.
So, all right, Rico, let's go and take a break. When we come back, we're gonna play a best of the day.
Yep.
When we come back, so the drive with AD and Raff and myself this morning, we had Jay Gates, one of our good friends, on the show, and he mentioned something about how recruiting rankings might not always equal national titles. Just bear with us. And we go pretty in depth on this whole thing. And so when we come back, you'll hear that segment from the drive with AD and Raff. You're more than welcome to give us your thoughts. on the text line 402-464-5685 throughout the entirety of it. But when we come back, we'll have that in-depth discussion on recruiting rankings with myself, Jay Gates, Aaron Davis, Chris Raff. When we come back, Old School 93.7 The Ticket, brought to you by the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. We'll be back on The Ticket, get you ready for the holidays right after this.
You're listening to Old School with DP&J. Download the mobile app and listen wherever you are on 93.7 The Ticket and theticket.com.
Like the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese beef. The Mercado offers unique ingredients you can't find anywhere else, open every day from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. The full-service butcher shop and retail store on their Friday Feast menu. Stop in at the Mercado today at 84th and Havelock or visit their website at cpmercado.com to see current deals.
Here in Nebraska, and you could play a key role. Solarion, one of the world's leading clinical research organizations, needs healthy adults who are 19 years old and older for a research opportunity. If you qualify, you could earn up to $500 a day for time and travel. Overnight stays may be required. To learn more, call Solarion at 866-213-2965 or visit helpresearch.com/500.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet, KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
At Allo, we think you deserve the fiber things in life, like binging your favorite TV shows and movies buffer-free, next level, lag-free gaming, and video calls without frozen faces. So say goodbye to lag and buffering and hello to super fast fiber internet with dedicated 24/7 support for total peace of mind. Plus, no hidden fees, no expiration dates, and no contracts, ever. From dependable service to acceptable, experience the fiber things with Allo. Go to allofiber.com/fiberthings and switch today.
Bagels and Joe is happy to introduce the new Joe Card. Get unlimited drip coffee from all 5 locations, including the new Seward location, for just $8.95 per month. Start your mornings off right with a breakfast sandwich and unlimited coffee from Bagels and Joe.
Hi, I'm Charlie Stone, and I'm back with Andy Goodyear, General Manager of Honda of Lincoln. Andy, you said to me earlier you have a lot going on at the dealership. Can you tell our listeners about it?
Sure can, Charlie. As I've said before, if you don't see a vehicle on our lot that you're looking for, it's probably on its way soon.
So, how many new Hondas do you have in stock or on the way?
We have a total of over 325, Charlie, with a great selection of Pilots and Ridgelines in stock right now.
Well, we have been talking about the Honda of Lincoln way of buying cars for several months. How is that going?
People love it. We're buying all makes and models, whether they purchase the car from us or not. I mean, really, it's a no hassle, and we will pay them cash on the same day.
Come experience the Honda of Lincoln way of doing business. 27th and Yankee Hill Road, or online at hondaoflincoln.com.
It's another hockey jersey auction night this Saturday as the Lincoln Stars host the Tri-City Storm for Down Syndrome Night at the Icebox. Santa and Mrs. Claus will also be on hand to meet and greet with fans throughout the night. With only 2 home games left before Christmas, make sure to make your holiday plans with the Stars. The puck drops at 6:05, and tickets can be purchased now at LincolnStars.com.
This year, give the gift of delicious food, incredible service, and a lasting memory with the Pillar Restaurant Group gift card. Our holiday gift card special is back. When you purchase a $50 gift card, receive a $5 bonus card, or purchase a $100 gift card to receive a $20 bonus card. These cards can be used at all Pillar Restaurant Group locations, including Venue Restaurant and Lounge, Piedmont Bistro, Cactus, and all Lincoln Good Sense subs. Available for purchase at any of our concepts or online at prgnebraska.com.
This is Dan Friedman. Between 2010 and 2019, distracted driving caused more than 40,000 car crashes in Nebraska, resulting in over 14,000 severe injuries and deaths. Please keep your eyes on the road. If you have a smartphone, put it away while you're behind the wheel. It will help keep our community safe and secure. This message is brought to you by Friedman Law Offices, helping injured people. It's what we do. It's all we do. Find us at friedmanlaw.com today.
Benjamin Franklin said, an investment in knowledge pays the best interest. I agree. I'm Jenny Benson, president of the Nebraska State Education Association. I grew up in Nebraska, attended our local public schools, and became a teacher. It wasn't easy, but it's the best investment I've ever made. Teachers are encouraging every student to invest their time in learning. Please join us in that effort. Support public education.
Sponsored by the Nebraska State Education Association, aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association in this station.
Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. This is Old School, sponsored by the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. Broadcasting veteran Derek Pearson.
When you find something that moves them, that makes them smile, celebrate it. That's your task. That's your superpower.
Nebraska Football Hall of Famer Jay Foreman.
Rifles a pass. It was tipped. It's picked off by Foreman. He's at the 15, 10, 5. He'll score.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We're back again. It's the Drive on 93.7 The Ticket, proudly sponsored by Sandhills Global. Sandhills Global is looking to fill hundreds of new openings in sales, traveling support, software development, web design, and more. Career and internship opportunities are available at the global headquarters in Lincoln. So apply today at sandhills.jobs.
Well, Raph, we got Gates coming out the gate with some interesting information and numbers and research on classes and recruiting in football.
Yeah, like I told you guys, I really don't. I mean, I enjoy it. I understand it's part of the process. Nothing against it. I want these kids to have their days. But at the end of the day, and it's great entertainment. It's great, you know, off-season stuff. But at the end of the day, is it really an indicator of winning or playing for a national title? And that's where I want to know, because I took a look at it, right?
You want to hear the fax machine again, don't you, Jay?
No. That's the next year.
Hey, but speaking of that fax machine,
that's right.
Raph, don't let us forget, we got somebody again last night. So we're gonna talk about that after Jay gets done.
All right. So, anyways, I just went back and I looked at the teams that are playing in this year's college football playoff: Michigan, TCU, Georgia, and Ohio State. I started with Georgia. Okay. Now look, Georgia this year, their recruiting class is ranked number 2. This is all with rivals numbers in case anyone really wants to know. Georgia ranked number 2. Last year they were number 3. 2021 they were number 5. 2020 they were number 1. 2019 they were number 1. So as I started looking at that, I was like, oh, I may be off on this. I mean, this is the number 1. Yeah. They're playing for the CFP. Their average recruiting class was ranked 2.4 over the last 5 years.
The first one, who was that again?
This is Georgia.
Georgia, okay, go ahead.
Right? Boom. So then I took it to, and I'm like, okay, well, maybe I'm wrong, and I need to pay more attention to this. Then I look at TCU. TCU this year, the recruiting class, based on their performance and kids wanting to go there, they're ranked number 19. Okay. Wow. Oh, and by the way, just so you're out there, everyone's like, well, what's Nebraska ranked? Nebraska is currently ranked number 28. Okay. Yep. So just so you know. Okay. So TCU this year, 19. Last year, 60.
60?
2021, 63. 2020, 24. 2019, 29. Okay. So their average ranking is 39.
That's their average ranking.
Yeah. So, and then you got Michigan, who went 17, 19, 10, 11, 10 for an average of 13.4.
Read Michigan's again with a pass.
Michigan is 17 this year, 19 last year, 10 and 21, 11 and 20, and 10 and 19. Okay. Wow. Now, Nebraska, I'll just tell you their numbers over the last several years, because Scott actually didn't do a bad job.
Right.
This year we're ranked number 28. Last year we were number 41. But 2021, we were number 18. 2020, we were ranked number 17. 2019, which I think was Scott's first year, or no, his recruiting class, that would have been his first, was ranked number 15. Mm-hmm. Okay, so our average, that makes
me feel good or not.
Our average, that's what I'm saying. It doesn't matter. Would you rather have a high-ranked recruiting class, or would you rather play for a national title or go to a bowl game?
So, Jay, this is going to work perfectly for you. And, AD, you'll have access to it, that Pick 6 previews book. Yeah. It'll tell you, it has this all categorized.
I need to see this as well.
Iowa. So, it's this book. He puts, it's digital. You can buy the digital version, which I always do every year. And it breaks similar statistics like this down with every single school in the country.
Yeah.
And his name's Brett Ciancia. He's highly regarded throughout college football. And it's called Pick 6 Previews. For example, Iowa. All right, perfect example right here. And I've said these statistics on my shows, on various shows before. Iowa, over the last 10 years, their average recruiting class is 39th in the country.
Yeah.
But here's
39.
this. He factors in something in terms of win conversion rate. And it's basically taking the recruit rank from those last 10 years and how they translate it into wins.
Right.
Out of all 66 Power 5 teams, Iowa ranks third.
Wow.
And
So
they
it works,
Kirk
and it
Ferentz
just goes to show that it's about player. Same thing can go for TCU right now.
Yeah.
You talk about 60th ranked recruiting class. Sonny Dykes, obviously they went through a coaching transition last year, but Sonny Dykes, better known as a developmental guy rather than a recruiting guy, able to get them figured out.
See, now here's the other thing I looked at too. I looked at because I'm focused on the Huskers. Okay, so we this year lost 8 ball games, right?
Mm-hmm.
Georgia Southern, you know what their recruiting class is ranked? 97. Purdue, 63.
Mm-hmm.
Wisconsin, 59. Northwestern, 40. Illinois, 39. Minnesota, 33. We are ranked 28. Of the 8 teams we lost to, only 2 of them had better recruiting classes. Michigan ranked number 17. Oklahoma ranked number 7.
Yep.
So my question to you is, do you want to go to a bowl game? Do you want to play for a national championship? Or do you want to have a great recruiting class? Because now I took the numbers and I looked at bowl games. Like, okay, out of the 39 or 42 bowl games, whatever it is, I went through and I ranked every single bowl game based on the rival class, what the 2 teams are matched up. Of all the bowl games this year, 24 teams have recruiting classes over 100, according to rivals.
Hello.
So my question to you,
say that again.
Of all the teams playing in bowl games this year, 24 of them have recruiting classes ranked 100 or higher. No, 90 or higher.
Okay.
90 or higher. So my question to you is, do you want to win ball games? Or, now, I would argue that these statistics are probably more accurate and indicative of, are you turning out NFL players?
Yep.
Right?
Boom.
If you look at Alabama, if you look at those, now I'm sure there's an algorithm out there
Oh, there
that
is, and
would
it's-
say
here it is.
how many NFL players you need on your roster to win a national title. I'm quite sure that would help. But if you're just looking to like saying, hey, we got a number 10 recruiting class, guess what? You can have the number 63 recruiting class and get right into the college football playoff. So that's why I personally don't pay attention to it.
Yeah.
It's almost like, Bill Parcells said, hey, you want me to cook the dinner, you at least let her get me the groceries. Okay, Matt Rule, you got the groceries. I'm ready to fast forward to not only what you cooking, does it taste like victory?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's what I want to know. I want to and are we going to a bowl game? You got the groceries. Scott did not leave the cupboards bare. I've been down there. There are tons of talent and plenty of athletes down there. So fast forward to like Raph did yesterday. Let's make our bowl trip reservations. That's my thought. That's my numbers.
On top of that, so we talk about that win conversion and how Iowa was ranked third out of 66 teams. Any guess where Nebraska's at out of 66 teams? Win conversion, taking the recruit rank from 2013 to 2021 and seeing how they win games from 2017 to 2021.
Well, when you're looking at 3 and 8 seasons, it can't be.
65th out of 66.
What's that again?
Win conversion from a high recruit rank and deciding or just figuring out if they help you win games at Nebraska. Nebraska ranks 65th out of 66 Power 5 teams.
But that's not really a surprise. I mean, all we've continually said, over the last 3 years is we've got to develop. We've got to develop. We look at our offensive line. We had plenty of 4-stars, but they were never developed. We had a freshman quarterback that was supposed to be a Heisman Trophy winner, and I'll be honest with you, he regressed. He did not improve.
That's true.
So
Hey, and you know what's also interesting too? I saw on the list. We just had him on the show the other day, Mike Minner, a week or two ago. He was on the show. His recruiting class this year is ranked number 67 in the country
at Campbell,
at
small
Campbell.
little school in Campbell.
Here's what I'll say.
So
guys.
that means
he can recruit.
67. He's not that far off at TCU,
right? And you know what?
Right?
You know what Metro can do besides recruit? He can coach and develop.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Go say what you're gonna say next.
So I was going to say, think back to what Matt Rule said on Wednesday, at a signing day press conference about the environment and how you need to build a team and build a program that can win in the environment, whether that's the weather, whether that's the stadium, or whether that's the conference, because that has multiple meanings to that statement. when you look at the Big Ten West specifically, and I understand divisions will eventually be scrapped, but here we are still next season. You're going to be in the Big Ten West.
Mhm.
I already told you what Iowa's was in terms of recruit rank and win production. Wisconsin, their average recruiting class over the last 10 years has been 36th in the country. Nothing crazy. They've been hovering for the most part. They've been hovering around the 45 rank, but in 2021 they had the 15th best recruiting class in the country because they had Graham Mertz at I believe they had excuse me, that was a couple years after Graham Mertz. Either way, win conversion in recruit rank versus wins for Wisconsin, 10th in the country. Iowa was 3rd. Minnesota with PJ Fleck, we can talk bad about him all you want. Over the last 10 years, their recruiting trend over the last 10 years, their recruiting average is 51st class in the country. They are 12th in win conversion in the entire country of Power 5 teams. Purdue, similar story. They are 15th in terms of taking bad recruits and figuring out a way to win games.
Wow.
Purdue, average recruiting class over the last 10 years, 63rd. They have had recruiting classes of 71, 80, 77, 90, 82, 61. They had a top 25 class in 2019 under Jeff Brom. Then it was 43, 83rd in 2021, and 48th in 2022.
Hey, and Wisconsin this year is 59, and they're
Yep.
playing in a bowl game against Oklahoma.
Did you guys hear PJ Fleck's press conference where he talked about Luke Fickell negative recruiting?
I did hear about
That
that.
was pretty entertaining.
What was his main points, Ralph?
Well, so basically, Wisconsin was trying to flip a Minnesota recruit. The Minnesota recruit has all the text messages and said that he was showing them to PJ Fleck, and he goes, "Yeah, it's always entertaining to see a school, negative recruiting, and then the players showing us the texts." And I'm just sitting there going, I'm like, PJ Fleck is never negative recruited. I'm like, okay, but so he definitely opened up a can of worms there with the Wisconsin-Minnesota rivalry. That's for sure.
It's such a it's become, in fact, Rico had a clip of Jimbo Fisher that was, complaining, aching and moaning about, NIL recruiting, etc. Everything that Nick, that you just said in the detailed breakdown that you gave, Gates. And in fact, our boy receivers coach at Doane, big shout out to Michael Dixon, Coach Dixon. He goes, Professor Gates.
Hey, I'm coming on with my numbers, man. I'm ready.
He's like an official. He's going to do his homework. He's going to do his homework. He's going to know what's going on, man.
I'm going to support my by rule, coach. By rule, it's an incomplete pass.
Because Dixon, I'm sure you've seen a few of his calls going, I don't know about that one. Professor Gates always comes prepared.
So Michael Dixon, is that my old receiver? He can respond yes or no on the message line, but I think it is.
Oh, that's Michael Dixon. Oh yeah, in fact, Gates. Well, Gates as well. Ralph, we're going to have Coach Dixon on the show, man. That's when we want to get him on the show. He's got a amazing store. They're doing some great things down there at Doane. He's doing some great things down there at Doane. Great receivers coach there. Everything that you just mentioned, Nick, everything you just mentioned, Ralph, and the detailed report you gave Gates, you know what that is? All those numbers. Development or the lack thereof. Now you bring it back again, and I'm going back to I'm only bringing it back to what I know and experienced. I would be curious, and I think we should do this again if we can get a chance next week, guys. What Nebraska's rankings were in recruiting during those years.
I have them.
Like 80, I'm talking about like 90, 91, 92 during those years.
Oh.
Yes.
The way I understand it, the only one I remember is my senior class that went 49-2 and won 3 national championships. And I don't think Rivals was around. I don't know who
it was tough. No. It was tough.
I don't know who was doing rankings, but our class was ranked.
I don't think they did.
Our class, I understand, was ranked like 22 or 23. Went 49-2 and won 3 national titles.
49-2.
3 national
championships. And here's what I'm going to say. I know for a fact our recruiting classes weren't ranked very high. Now, we had individuals, obviously the Tommy Fraziers, your Mike Mentors, guys of that status. Eric Stokes was another one.
But like I mentioned, the algorithm type thing. Back then, how many guys were getting drafted? We had 7, 8,
guys,
9.
a ton of guys.
Yeah, we had NFL players coming out. Like when Grant Wistrom got tired, we got a second-round Mike Rucker pick.
Yep.
going coming off the bench. We got him on. You're tired of Lawrence Phelps? Well, we got Ahman Green coming off the bench. I mean, we had NFL players backing up NFL players all day long.
And you know what? They were NFL guys, but they didn't come in ballyhooed.
No.
Nick, what do you got for us right there?
So
he's doing the math.
Yeah, he's doing the math.
Right? He's counting something.
Yes.
So that took you guys 4 years to win 49 games?
Oh, no. Don't do this.
Nebraska.
Don't do this.
Oh, God.
Since in the last 9 years.
Okay, when
Don't do this.
Has won 56 games in the last 9 years.
Hey, and I'll
2013.
No, read that again. I mean, because I understand really the depth of what you just said, Nick.
In 2013, Nebraska went 9-4. Since then, since that start of the 2013 season, in the last, I guess 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 seasons, Nebraska has won 56 games total in the last 10 seasons.
That's what my 13-year-old daughter asked me the other day. What is a bowl game? She never.
and math, honestly,
that's the environment we're in.
Yeah, I guess math, honestly, would be 5.6 wins per season over the last 10 years, and that you're getting major help there from the 2013, 2014, and 2016 seasons because you had 9 wins those years.
Oh my gosh. Pecan Pie says, go ahead, Raph.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, too, it's going to be interesting with the next recruiting period for Nebraska because it's going to give some time for those coaches to sit down and watch a lot of tape, especially on like offense and defensive line. And I forgot the name of the one coach that wakes up at 3 a.m. or watches film at 3 a.m. and then texts Coach Rule.
That's the
lets him know
his defensive back coach
about surprise players. So it'll be fun to see when they have a chance to actually sit down with a lot of tape. And I would think that there'd be like some 2-star players and stuff like that are like diamonds in the rough that they're going to find. So it'll be fun the next couple of months.
What was that linebacker they found out of Oklahoma? Was it Eric? What's his name?
Eric Fields.
Eric
Fields.
I saw that on Twitter.
Dude, he's. I need to. I sent it to Foreman. I just text you this. His highlight reel. His closing speed is stupid. His closing speed is absolutely stupid. Right here, unknown texter 2993. Please keep the government out of it. Government. I'm not sure when we've talked about the government, but nevertheless, I'm not sure what you meant by that. Might have been someone else. Hey, Ron, at least we didn't send many players to the Broncos. Silver lining. We did, though. Hey, Ron. Zigbo, and one of the most decorated ones, Tony Veland. 2 national championships and a Super Bowl ring. So we did send one to the Broncos. I'm sorry, Ron, we did. In fact, we said probably one of the best guys you could ever meet to the Broncos, and that's Tony Veland. In fact, Tony Veland probably made the Broncos just better in the locker room. I know Raph would agree to that one.
It was interesting that you guys brought up Evan Cooper. I was trying to find the Matt Rule quote on Evan Cooper, but unfortunately, he said something along the lines of, he's like, I called him, when I told him about Nebraska, and he said, Coach, take the job and go offer Jalen Lloyd.
Wow.
He said, Coach, take the job and go offer Jalen Lloyd.
Cooper said that?
Evan Cooper told him that. And I don't know what quote it is right now, so I'm gonna have to find it, but we will have it here in a second. I just gotta work on it here.
Dude, yes, Hizzleberry, you're spot on, bro. The 20-second mark of Fields' video had my jaw on the ground. Dude, it's dumb. Jay, in fact, I'm gonna send it to you on this break. All right. That dude's closing speed is like ridiculous. And he wasn't. He was just one of those diamonds in the rough that you were talking about. And it goes to your point, Gates, in that you can get all the 4 and 5 stars you want. Now of course, you got the outliers in your Alabamas, your Georgias, etc. But even them, the other teams that are consistently there. I'm not talking about your 1 or 2. I'm talking about the ones that are consistently there, kind of like the AT&T, if you will, of blue chip stocks. They develop. Coach Osborne and guys, they never had high recruiting class. They had high recruiting individual players, but they developed us. They were the best at doing it.
Yeah. This is Matt Rule. It's a very short clip. Matt Rule on Eric Fields.
Eric Fields, I don't want to make promises. Everyone here is going to know who he is. He's an elite player, an excellent talent, fast, physical.
There it is.
Cooper's one of those guys. He's just a film junkie.
He's going to watch it. Okay, so what does it say that assistants wanted to follow you to Lincoln? This might be the one we're talking about, Evan Cooper.
Yeah, I think we asked people in Pennsylvania, we asked people in Florida to send their kids to us. they were here this past weekend, and it was kind of cold, and it's a long way. And I think they looked at Terrence Knighton. They said, man, he just picked his family up, and he just came here to follow Coach Rule. And they looked at Coop, and they looked at EJ, and all these guys. And I think it sent a great message to them that if they believe in what Matt's doing, that some of them would even leave NFL jobs to come work for him, then, I can trust them as well. And when the staff's all said and done, we'll probably have 7 or 8 former players of mine on the staff in different areas. And that really is really helpful to me because, I think they're stars. It's going to be a young staff. And I've had some people say to me, like, why is the staff so young? Because I'm old, and they make me feel younger, made me look younger to the guys. We're relevant in terms of what's new and what's not. But also they've seen firsthand how the way that we do things affects lives. It affected their life, hopefully, and they're now going to pour into other people's lives. There's not going to be any celebrity coaches. There's not going to be guys with different agendas. This coach isn't going to say this, and this coach is saying this. We're all going to have one purpose. There's a vision. There's a brand of football that we play, and they all believe it. And every coach, will have. Omar's going to be a star on, social media. Coach Foley's going to go to different. They're all going to be themselves. I want them to all be different. But they better wake up every day saying, you know what, my number one priority is the guys on my team. Everyone spends too much time thinking about recruiting. They don't think enough about the guys on their own team. But those guys on our team, that's our job. And so that's the guys that I have. I'm lucky to have them. I'm really grateful that Trev has allowed me to hire who I want to hire.
So I apologize. That's not the right quote, but still it's
powerful.
That one's got a lot of volume to it. So, it's just crazy to think about. Here's, I guess, in-state recruiting, talking about Jalen Lloyd. Here's Matt Rule prioritizing in-state recruiting.
Yeah, I think you always start at home. The key to long-term success is for every 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th grader in the state of Nebraska to grow up, dreaming of playing out here. And so they have to see other kids just like them do that. And so as I went through this process of evaluating this job, if I would be a good fit here, I got to know these players. I watched them, and I wanted the local kids to stay here and play here in Nebraska. So we got a lot of them. A couple we didn't get, but the ones that we got, they came for the right reasons. They wanted to be here, and we can't take everybody, but the ones we got are definitely good enough, and they're going to fight for their university.
There you go.
I think it was telling when Gates just mentioned that his daughter didn't even know what a bull was.
Yeah.
That's facts.
His senior class, 49-2, 3 national championships, and we won how many games since then in 9 years, Nick? How many numbers were that again?
56 in 10 seasons.
56 in 10 seasons.
Yeah.
It's just mind-boggling. Let me read a few of the texts we got here. Bobo7-5 says, the recruiting is one thing, but what I'm hearing is developing players is everything. Absolutely.
Facts.
Absolutely. Kelsey, Mississippi Mud Dog, what's up, homeboy? It's essentially a reflection of how well you develop talent. We have sucked at it for about 8 years. You know 100%. What? It's hard to disagree, brother. Unknown texture, thanks for the picture. Happy Festivus, fellas. Happy Festivus to you as well. Christmas. The Sun Dog is out to play in Lincoln. It's a great picture, brother. Appreciate it. Pecan Pie says, yes, go Doan. Let's hunt. Yeah, Michael Dixon will go some hunting. He'll do some hunting. IQ Crew. Yeah, Mike Kroll and Kenny Walker. Raph, I forgot about Mike Kroll and Kenny Walker, the Broncos, Raph.
And Neil Smith.
Neil Smith
played for the Broncos.
Raph, who else?
Oh, Josh Sewell played for a cup of tea there.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, who else?
Rod Smith, wide receiver. Didn't he play there for a hot minute back in the 80s?
Hot Rod? Hot Rod was there when he Raph?
Oh no, Shane Swanson. Number 17.
Oh, okay.
Yep. Joe B. Yeah, we got Tony Veal. Joe B.
Calvin Clark was a first-round draft pick from the Huskers back in '78, I believe.
Wow, getting way back there.
Buckhalter. Thanks for holding. I can't see your name on there.
Yeah,
you guys,
H for Huskers.
Yeah, exactly. You guys want to get Paul on the line here?
Yes, we got a quick call.
Paul, what's up, man? All right, Paul might be gone.
That was the other day.
No, there's
Rico. He came back again.
Yeah, he came back.
Oh.
So we had Willie. Willie said Veland. Yep, we got Veland. Somebody said Buckhalter. Yep, absolutely. And Aaron said he just giving you a hard time with the Broncos, Raph.
Janovich, you know who you also training camp, Tremaine Bell.
Oh, that's right, Tree. Yep, Tree was with them for a while in training camp. Yep. Also, Eric, thanks, Eric. Appreciate it. Andy Janovich as well. Andy Janovich.
Yep.
Fullback.
Jano. Yep.
Janovich. Crick. Was Crick there for a while?
Yep.
H for Huskers. H for Huskers.
Yep,
I
he was
can't say
there.
your name.
He was there for 2 years.
Yeah. And an unknown texter goes, 4313 says, let's ride. Mark Mumford. Oh, yes. Unknown texter 6279. Mark Mumford.
Number 41.
Yes.
Here, I
Forgot about
remember.
Mum.
Yeah, I remember.
Yes. Raph, I didn't realize
He
the
was
Husker string was that long, man.
He was Chiefs and Broncos. And the old Little Red is Miles, the mascot now. So the connections are out there.
Shout out to Little Red.
Yes. Pecan Pie, appreciate you,
Hope
man.
he has a Merry Christmas. Hope Little Red is enjoying his Christmas season.
Without a rusty
without
knife.
any sharp utensils. Without.
My boy Armand used to be doing Little Red back.
Yes, Armand. That's right. Armand was Little Red
He
for a
was
while.
inside Little Red, sweating his butt off.
Nate says
Yep.
Hess. John Hess was there for a while. Forgot about John Hess. We mentioned
Yep.
Mike Kroll, JP.
He's got a
Appreciate it.
Super Bowl ring.
Yes.
Hess is a local guy.
Yep.
Southeast High
Southeast
School.
High. Pecan Pie, Merry Christmas to you as well, brother. Folks, thanks for chiming in. We got another segment left. We're going to pay some bills, though. We got Raph representing it down in Houston. We got Nick holding it down on the board. We got Gates coming out the gate with wisdom and information. 97 national champ. We'll be right back.
Watch Old School live on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. Old School with DP and J on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
This is Megan Whitaker from the Nebraska golf team. If you've put your clubs away for the winter, it's time to get them back out. There's no need to stop thanks to Double Eagle Golf. Double Eagle is home to Lincoln's best indoor golf simulators. It's perfect for every level of golfer, with everything from casual games for the kids to hyper-realistic simulations of some of the best courses in the world. And the best part, no matter what the weather's doing outside, it's always golf weather inside. See for yourself. Double Eagle Golf, just 5 minutes from downtown at the Kinetic Sports Complex on West O Street.
It's another hockey jersey auction night this Saturday as the Lincoln Stars host the Tri-City Storm for Down Syndrome Night at the Icebox. Santa and Mrs. Claus will also be on hand to meet and greet with fans throughout the night. With only 2 home games left before Christmas, make sure to make your holiday plans with the Stars. The puck drops at 6:05, and tickets can be purchased now at LincolnStars.com.
You had to know that when Wingstop set out to make a crispy, juicy chicken sandwich, they wouldn't make it in just one flavor. They'd make it in all 12, like lemon pepper, mango habanero, hickory smoked barbecue, and OG hot. So why have one new favorite chicken sandwich when you can have 12? Try the new sauced and tossed Wingstop chicken sandwich today for only $5.49 at Wingstop, where flavor gets its wings. Valid for a limited time and available at participating Wingstop locations only while supplies last. Price subject to applicable taxes and fees.
There's nothing quite like the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese beef. The Mercado offers unique ingredients you can't find anywhere else, open every day from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. The full-service butcher shop and retail store is wonderful for meat lovers with their exclusive certified Piedmontese beef and assorted sausages, plus other quality meats, including pork, chicken, and a wide range of the freshest seafood. Plus, every Friday from 11 to 2, the Mercado serves up the best lunch in town on their Friday Feast menu. Stop in at the Mercado today at 84th and Havelock or visit their website at cpmercado.com to see current deals.
Decking the halls with boughs of holly sure sounds great until you're the one who has to do it. Take the stress out of your holiday parties this year and host your gatherings at Suite A Events by Mary Ellen's. Suite A is the perfect place for your year-end company parties or other large gatherings. Suite A and Mary Ellen's can handle the food, the desserts, the decorations, and of course, those holiday spirits. See for yourself online at SuiteAEvents.com or at 27th and Pine Lake, right next to Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Wind chill warnings remain in effect as northwest winds will gust near 40 today, and we only see an afternoon high of around 6. Wind chill values will be well below 0 for the majority of the day. A few clouds move in tonight. We'll see an overnight low of around 5 below. Try to warm things up a bit tomorrow with a high of 15. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Back to Old School with DP and J on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. This
good morning, little brother.
is Early Break with Zip and Jay.
Harry?
wearing aftershave? That's not aftershave, that's kerosene. The rope is soaked in it.
Merry Christmas.
Go up!
This is 93.7 The Ticket.
Our last show before Christmas continues on. Sip is out with illness. I'm Jake Sorensen riding solo. Thanks for keeping me company on the text line and the phones, 402-464-5685, and also watching and commenting on Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, and Twitter. We were just talking about the NIL and the portal. And by the way, the winner of the Nebraska Christmas Light Show was Andrew. So congrats to Andrew. And I'm playing Santa today. Gave away a haircut, gave away Christmas Light Show. We're going to give away bagels here in a little bit. But that's what we're doing. And by the way, like I said, you guys can bring in a donation here for the Food Bank of Lincoln. If you bring in any donation, you will get a free 1-pound fruitcake or a vanilla rum cake courtesy of Beatrice Bakery. But you have to bring it to the station by today if possible. We'll be here until about 4, 5 o'clock. So if you want to bring in something to the we got it in the hallway here. Bring any item for the food bank. Get a free fruitcake or vanilla rum cake courtesy of Beatrice Bakery. Okay. So from the text line during the break, we had a text from Shane regarding the portal. He says, the transfer portal is working out great. The tampering will happen regardless, but now you have 1,000 kids that by their own choice have taken themselves off scholarship and opening up spots for kids that actually want to be there. There are so many opportunities being held up before because of stupid transfer restrictions and kids sitting in places that didn't even want to be at. Okay. There's a positive spin on the transfer portal. Yeah, I'd wonder if you are if we could talk to a head coach, a football coach, off the record, if they would say that it's been a blessing or a curse. Because, think about this. You can take some kids that don't pan out, and in the past rules, they were stuck on your roster, and you couldn't get rid of them. And now you still can't cut players. It's not how this works. You can't cut them. But you can encourage them to leave or tell them that there's better places to play, or they could figure that out themselves by going elsewhere. So this is about thinning out your roster of guys that are kind of on the fringe and bringing in other replacements. I get that. And I think that was kind of what people that were supporting the portal were kind of leaning towards there. But it hasn't worked exactly like that. And so that's why it's not universally seen as a gift versus a lump of coal at this point. Rick in Wahoo says, have a great Christmas, guys. Thanks, Rick. Same to you. Appreciate that. And all your guys' text today regarding holiday wishes. We wish you guys all a great Christmas, too. I saw this tweet yesterday that I want to get to here. Matt Hayes, formerly of the Sporting News, now just a national college football writer, kind of a freelancer in college football, had a report that South Carolina fans have purchased more than 40,000 tickets to the Gator Bowl game against Notre Dame. I repeat, this is from Matt Hayes, national college football writer. The Gator Bowl, per him, reported that South Carolina fans have purchased more than 40,000 tickets to the Gator Bowl game against Notre Dame coming up in the next week ahead. Nebraska has missed a bowl game 6 straight years. Nebraska had about 10,000 fans in Ireland for the Northwestern game to start off the season this past year. The next time Nebraska makes a bowl game, if it's not, the Pinstripe, not the Detroit Bowl, the Quick Lanes Bowl, whatever it is. If their first game back in a bowl game is in Florida or Arizona again, do you think we'll see 40,000 Nebraska fans travel? I was blown away by that number for South Carolina. I know they have a good fan base, but it's not like seeing it's like Tennessee or Alabama or A&M's fan base. It's a respected fan base. But I was stunned when I saw 40,000 tickets had been purchased by South Carolina fans for their bowl game against Notre Dame in the Gator Bowl. Nebraska fans, if Nebraska's next bowl game is back in Florida again for the Gator Bowl or somewhere, Texas, California, Arizona, well, we see 40,000 people travel. And by the way, if they make the Quick Lane Bowl in Detroit or the Pinstripe Bowl in New York City, barely sneaking into a bowl game, will we see that type of migration from Nebraska fans to that bowl game. I can't see 40,000 Nebraska fans filling up Ford Field in Detroit. I just can't do it. I really can't see in late December 40,000 Nebraska fans traveling to New York City to play in the Pinstripe Bowl. If they're playing in the Gator Bowl in Jacksonville, yeah, there's a chance. The formerly, these bowls have changed hands, but the old Capital One Bowl in Orlando, or the formerly known as Outback Bowl, also in Orlando or in Tampa, whatever that one's at. Do you think we'll see 40,000 fans travel the next time it happens? And how stunned are you as stunned as I am seeing South Carolina purchase 40,000 tickets for their bowl game? Something about that just it stopped me in my tracks. And I had to take a step back and say, dang, I didn't know that they traveled like that. Now, as Raleigh in Carolina Husker says, that is pretty much a regional home game for South Carolina. I remember when Nebraska played Clemson in the Gator Bowl during the Pelini years, you could not get down I-95 because there were so many Clemson fans coming down from South Carolina. That makes a big difference. It is a drivable game for Gamecock fans. Absolutely. So that certainly helps to get that many fans there. Imagine if you had 40,000 fans from Nebraska, though, driving, flying to Arizona, flying to California for the Holiday Bowl because they haven't been there forever. Flying to the, the formerly known as Foster Farms Bowl, the Cheez-It Bowl, whatever it is now. There's obviously fans that live out in these different areas, but there's not 40,000 of them. I think it's interesting. Michael in Carolina is here. Says Gamecock fans are excited to see this bowl game. I'm on a few different pages. It seems like everyone's going to make the trip. And again, like the texters have said so far, a big part of that is because it's not that long of a drive. So I shouldn't have taken that far back regarding 40,000 tickets being purchased since it's in the region. It's drivable. Now, it'd be a telling story if they were flying across the country to California to play a bowl game. If there's 40,000 at that point, then yeah, it's a big deal. But it's in the region there. But I'm just curious, what's a drivable game for Nebraska fans for a bowl game? You're not driving to, that they might make it a bowl game. You're not driving to, I guess you could drive to Detroit. That's 12 hours or so. It's drivable, as I put my quotations in the air. Not exactly fun. There's no game in Chicago. There's no game in the Midwest, really. I guess you have to drive to Dallas possibly to a bowl game or something down there. But I don't think there's really a drivable bowl game. San Antonio is not really drivable, Texas. That's a long drive. It is drivable. That's a long drive. Long drive. Nashville is drivable. Again, another long drive. Fort Worth, Jesse, as I said, is that's Dallas, Fort Worth. That's drivable. It's still 9-10 hours to get down there. I don't think you have 40,000 fans driving from Lincoln, but again, there's a lot of Husker fans on the way down to those parts that could fill that void. But I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I was impressed by South Carolina. I hope that it results in a win for you against Notre Dame. But I'm just thinking about the next time Nebraska makes a bowl game, which would be the first time, if it's this year, in 7 years it happens. It's going to be a freaking party. It's going to be a lot of people driving, flying, maybe even boating there. I hope I'm part of that. I hope we get a chance to go to those games. I hate to inform you because I have no co-host today. I did have Christmas movie trivia. I had trivia ready in case somebody popped in here to help out, but nobody's here, and the spillover is coming up next. So with that being said, more Santa Jake for you guys as we head into our final. How about this? Okay, how about caller 5 right now? Caller 5 right now is going to win a business box of bagels to Bagels and Joe. It's not going to count as a loss for SIP. It's not going to count as a win for you. It's just going to be a gift, or my final gift of the day, because I can't play my trivia without anybody here. There's an empty chair there. Just be silenced. You'd be playing against nobody. So caller 5 right now. Final gift of the day for me is going to win a business box of bagels to Bagels and Joe, 464 5685. When we come back, we will have the spillover next on Early Break in the Ticket.
There's nothing quite like the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese beef. The Mercado offers unique ingredients you can't find anywhere else, open every day from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. The full-service butcher shop and retail store is wonderful for meat lovers with their exclusive certified Piedmontese beef and assorted sausages, plus other quality meats, including pork, chicken, and a wide range of the freshest seafood. Plus, every Friday from 11 to 2, the Mercado serves up the best lunch in town on their Friday Feast menu. Stop in at the Mercado today at 84th and Havelock or visit their website at cpmercado.com to see current deals.
Are you looking for a solid, stable career in assembly, CNC machining, or injection molding? We got you covered. Hi, Bob Williams, HR Director for Garner Industries, a world-class manufacturer with a 70-year history right here in Lincoln. And I just listed some great career opportunities that you can find by logging into GarnerIndustries.com. If you want top pay, excellent benefits, flexible work hours, and the opportunity to work in a clean, modern, air-conditioned facility with great people, contact me today by applying online at GarnerIndustries.com.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Underground, who has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know the baddest dudes in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and pedigree of success. Bauer, a family-friendly company who reminds you, go Big Red!
Sartor Heyman Jewelers says let it snow because a white New Year's Eve could mean free jewelry. Shop from December 1st to December 24th, and it snows 3 inches or more on New Year's Eve, your purchase is free. Holiday savings throughout the store. 36 months interest-free financing with approved credit. Shop from December 1st to December 24th, and if it snows 3 inches or more on New Year's Eve, your purchase is free. Sartor Heyman Jewelers, a Nebraska tradition since 1905.
Paul and the staff at High Electric want to wish all 93.7 The Ticket listeners a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Cherish the season and all that it stands for. Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays from High Electric, your go-to in Lincoln for all electric needs.
Hopcat exists at the intersection of great beer and delicious food, complemented by music, art, community, and comfort. Home to a best-in-class beer experience served by craft beer experts, guests can expect a casual, inviting local gathering place with some of the best damn burgers and fries you'll find in Lincoln. Hopcat is your pregame headquarters for basketball and volleyball all season long. Hopcat is located at 6th and P in the Haymarket. To plan your next trip to Hopcat, visit www.hopcat.com.
Working at Continental in Lincoln isn't a job, it's a career. And right now they've raised wages again and they're hiring for production operators at $24.11 per hour, which grows to $28.27 per hour within 3 years. Skilled trade positions now start at $32.76 per hour with opportunities more based on certifications. Continental also has salary jobs available and great benefits, plus medical and prescription costs at very low premiums. Dental, vision, and life insurance are offered at no premium cost to the associates, with increased bonuses and vacation for new hires. To learn more or to apply, go to continental-jobs.com with keyword Lincoln. Come work at Continental today.
At Koppel, during the holidays, we take time to cherish our terrific staff, community, and loyal customers that continue to drive that money-saving mile to Louisville, Nebraska. Hi, this is Sean Callahan. I can proudly say I bought my car at Koppel. And if you are in the area, I invite you to stop by Koppel Chevrolet GMC's offices in Louisville or check them out online at koppelcars.com. On behalf of Koppel Chevrolet GMC, Merry Christmas and safe travels to all.
Guys, Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping has changed my life. I'm healthier, I'm more fit, I have more energy, and oh yeah, I've lost a bunch of weight, almost 100 pounds. Now's the time for you to take control of your health and join the Farrell's 10-week challenge. The program combines kickboxing, strength training, and nutrition to set you up for success. And ticket listeners, you can get in for half off. The next challenge starts on January 7th at both of their locations, 40th and Yankee Hill, and their brand new spot at 70th and Vine. Get all the info at fxblincoln.com. Join today, Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping.
Back to old school with DP and J on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
What's up? We're back.
Happy Friday. It's the final segment before Christmas. Nick Sainert, Enrique Alvarez, Clary.
Merry Christmas.
Back live with you from the 93.7 The Ticket Studios.
We're shutting it down.
Shutting it down for
Last
one final time.
All the lights are off. It's kind of creepy.
I know. You're not used to doing radio without lights around you, but
I've done it before.
We already shut down the lights in the hallways. Shut down the lights in the front.
I want to say one thing. Shout out to, I didn't catch his name, a listener that came in to buy fruitcake. He was like, hey, I heard you guys are selling fruitcake. Can I get some? And I was like, yeah, sure. He's like, and I also heard you need air in your tire. And I was like, yeah. He goes, oh, I got a handheld compressor in my Jeep. Do you want me to fill up your tire? And I was like, yeah. So he bought some fruitcake. He got some chocolate covered fruitcake squares from Beatrice Bakery, which we are selling. But nobody's going to be in the office for the next 3 days.
Not tonight.
So
don't come tonight.
I mean, maybe you can get some on Tuesday or whatever. But I mean, you can buy them all year round. It's delicious.
Do not come tonight.
Yeah, nobody's going to be here. But they're delicious. You missed your chance. But again, you can come buy some.
They're delicious. You missed out.
You
Too bad.
You can buy some on Tuesday. But yeah, but he came in. He bought some of that. He filled up my tire, and I thank him just immensely. For that. This is the second winter in a row that I have been here and something has happened and a listener has come to my rescue. Last year it was the snowstorm. Maybe that would have been 2 years ago. I don't really. Actually, that was 2 years ago because last year it was like a green, yellow Christmas because there was no snow. All the grass was dead, so that's yellow.
Gotcha.
But yeah, one time I was here and a listener came and plowed out the entire parking lot for me to get out, and then I got home. Get Rico home safely, if people remember that. And then this year, somebody comes and fills up my tire. And I, again, thank him so much for that. You guys are all amazing. Thank you all so much for listening throughout this entire year up until this Christmas season. You guys are fantastic. And I love all of you.
It makes us realize, I mean, number one, how much we get to know you guys just from talking to the microphones and how much you guys hopefully feel like you get to know us through talking as well and hanging out with us pretty much every day.
Yeah.
For the entire year. So appreciate you guys hanging out with Rico and myself the entire day. You've heard a lot of us this last Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. From all of us here at the Ticket, DP, Rebecca, Mark, Rico, myself, Jake, Bach,
Sipple,
Sip, AD, Raph,
VJ,
everybody,
Jay.
Terrell. Merry Christmas.
David.
David.
Don't forget David.
Merry Christmas. Appreciate you guys hanging out with us. We will not be here on Monday, so make sure you tune in starting 6 a.m. on Tuesday. But hope you guys all have a great, safe, and enjoyable Christmas weekend. We'll talk to you guys on Tuesday. See ya.
Bye-bye.
Look at your car. It's filthy and